Well, hello and welcome to part one reveal video of the Revell Stuka JU87 tank buster. That's the 1975 mould, or the 70s mould anyway, with the Kannonvogel version, or the tank buster, tank destroyer, with its 37mm cannon. Yep, it's an old mould. You know, actually did like the plastic. It was sort of nice soft plastic, but basically the mould itself, it's not good quality at all. But I did enjoy making this model up to a point. It's basically one of the smoothest builds I've done so far when it comes to aircraft. Definitely the smoothest one I've done so far. It all seemed just to go really well, apart from when I got to the canopy. Paint went on quite nicely. I'm becoming a convert to Revell's decals. I really like their decals. They're not too thick, not too thin, or not that thin anyway, and they just seat really nicely on the actual plastic. I had no trouble with these at all. I mean, there was a lot of little ones to put on. Your danger, your warning signs, and you know, don't walk, etc., and your crosses and things. But yeah, I think they're wonderful, beautiful little decals. Revell, they do a good job with theirs. Well, that's my humble experience of them anyway, compared to any other manufacturer that I've used so far. They're either too thick or they don't seat. But it's all personal experience with these things. It's not a wholly accurate model. It's just my version of a scratch building. Like, as you can see, I cut away the engine and scratch built that. I've left the cover off here just for a bit of effect. I mean, I might put this on the diorama in the future. But there's a little tank decal on there. That's just their tally, the pilot's tally of how many tanks they destroyed. I mean, yeah, it was an anti-tank. Basically, there's a flying anti-tank weapon, this anti-tank aircraft. Didn't come in until late in the war, apparently, about 1944, near the end. And but these 37mm guns, they could apparently take out a lot of tanks, from the air. High velocity, armour piercing shells. It was something like exceeding 850 2,000 feet per second. 2,790 I've read somewhere. And the greatest pilot of that era, well, I suppose it depends on your point of view whether he was famous or infamous or notorious and all the rest of it, but it was who many modelers have heard of, or aircraft enthusiasts anyway, have heard of the pilot Revell, who actually did take out over 500 Russian armoured vehicles or tanks, which is quite a phenomenal count for those days. And I think this guy had someone looking over his shoulder, or someone looking after him, because how he survived all that. And apparently he also flew over 2,500 combat missions, and he was shot down 30 times. So whether you believe in angels or not, stories like that, they make me think maybe there is something up there, but who knows. That's a different discussion. But the hardest decal for me to get right was the nose, the spinning nose, the red decal there on the nose. Oh, that was really tricky. That nearly drove me crazy. But I did get it on there in the end. Some people are a dab hand at this. They slip them on and that's it. I was pretty pleased with my paint job on it as well. That was subtle washes to get the kind of winter effect, or winter camouflage effect. Like I say, I can't really sort of date this to a particular squadron, because it's just an approximation of what I've made. because really the kit was for, I think this was for a Staffel or squadron in Denmark, that area. That's what it says on the instructions. Anyway, I was also pleased with my aerial. That's not the best aerial I've done. I haven't done many. I think I've done about 3, but that aerial I was really quite chuffed with, and got the thickness right for once. It's nice, you know, it's nice and thin, but also it looks quite taut, not too saggy. Which brings us to the canopy. The canopy originally was going to be this one, which is the Revell original, which came with the kit, which I cut in half because I wanted to have the open cockpit effect when it's, you know, when it's grounded and being maintained. But that all went wrong because this split, and I tried to repair it. That didn't work anyway. It was a real disaster there. It's like just a whole mess, so there's no way I can use that again. But the other thing is, it's actually quite different from the one I ended up putting on. That's a vacuform canopy from which I bought online. I got for about £4. But that was also a different shape. The only tools I had were a little scalpel knife, the modelling knife, and a small pair of scissors to get that right. That was a whole nightmare getting that on for me. I had to cut it, jig it around. It's got filler there. I think there's a slight mistake with the gluing in there as well for the sliding canopy, but you know, which is a shame. But I'll just say, yeah, it was battered during combat. But yeah, so that was a real problem for me getting that on. A real problem. Now I'm not sure whether it's actually too big for this scale 172, or I mean the front canopy here, the front part, that's the original from the Revell kit, and I quite like the way I painted that. And as this was causing me so much headache, this thing, I didn't mess up the replacement, which almost happened because I had to cut that off. I had to cut the replacement in half anyway to get the sliding canopy effect. But the other thing is, the actual canopy really should be another bar longer. You know, the canopy framework, it should actually be a little bit longer than that. In real life it would be, but you know, it's a model, so. But it gives the desired effect. It does look a little bit better than if I'd actually left it off. I nearly left it off because I thought, oh God, I'm going to mess. I was terrified of messing up this replacement canopy, because I certainly wasn't going to go and buy a third, not for this model. But I persevered with it because I was so pleased with the rest of it. Like I say, you know, it was the smoothest build I've done so far. You know, technique wise, and actually putting the thing together and how it was going together in this scale of aircraft, a 172. I mean, it's nearly 5 months ago now that I finished messing around with the so-called scratch-built aircraft here, but you know, it gives it a bit of interest. Okay, probably cut too much down there, but I like it. I'm pleased with this model. It's got character. It's definitely got character, the old Stuka. Very slow plane though, to what I've been reading. Apparently this, something like 190 to 200 miles an hour maximum when it was cruising or something. But anyway, it was pretty deadly with these cannons, the Kannonvogel. Deadly old thing in the right hands. So that's the end of part 1. There's not much more I can really say. Underneath, I just tried to keep, you know, it's all acrylic washes. Got the light sky blue underneath. Got the correct decals as well under there. So, oh yeah, there I actually, it wasn't in the kit, but I kind of scratch built. I believe that's like a bomb rack. I think it's a bomb rack. I scratch built one out of some sprue, then realised there's actually one in the kit. So that was a kind of waste of time, but it was fun making it. So that was all blended in. It's got its bomb rack there. You know, there's not much other detail on, but really under here. There's no dive sirens on this kit. Whether this actual model plane in real life had dive sirens on it, I don't know. But there's no dive sirens and no accentuators or whatever on the wings. But I wanted to keep the model clean and just, you know, clean model for the purpose of what it was meant, which was anti-tank operations. So yeah, didn't do too much weathering on it. I really didn't need to. I don't think. I wanted to keep it clean because I was pleased with the way the transfers, you know, the decals went on. The same with the, you know, your wing protectors here. So yeah, well, the next video I'll make a slide video of this. I add a few photos in for it. It's the second part of the slide video, because I did make a part 1 slide video of this, but I thought it'd be interesting just to have a little talk on it, a little chat and a waffle. Yeah, it's slightly battered looking here, like I say, but to me it's in keeping with a role of what this aircraft was, you know, originally intended for. Well, what it did indeed carry out. But yeah, so apart from the small screw-ups with the canopy here and, you know, its accuracy issues, I'm pretty pleased with it, really. The gun was tricky to fit in, the rear gun, because there's actually nowhere to mount it. You actually have to mount it on the clear canopy plastic, which slightly makes things slightly fraught to get it right. But anyway, it's in now. But anyway, hopefully see you all on the next video, which will be the slide video, part 2 of, will be part 3 now, of the JU87 Revell 172 1975 or thereabouts tank buster. So thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully see you on the next video.